What would you think if I told you giants once walked this level flat plane you live on? Would you think I was crazy? I kind of thought it was crazy at first too, but then I researched, and there is ample evidence, incredible amount of evidence to prove that these monstrosities were once here. And why have they been hidden? Well, that's the interesting part. Why? Stick around, I'll tell you why. And let me first say, before I get to that, everything I'm saying in this video is a joke, not even serious. You see, I believe there is a great deception upon us right now, and that deception is for one intent, and that's to hide God. They have us believing we're on a spinning magic water ball in infinite space with infinite planets and infinite galaxies, when in fact, we're in God's terrarium. We've got a dome above us, we're on a flat level plane, and giants once roamed this place. But why would they hide it? Why would they hide it? I'm going to tell you why. Because the Bible mentions giants dozens of times. Dozens of times. And if we were to know that giants were here, it would legitimize the Bible. In fact, I used to think the Bible was nonsense, and it wasn't until I did my research on giants and flat earth that I realized the truth has been right in front of me the whole time. Keep following along. I'm going to show you the proof. You see, the Bible mentions giants literally dozens of times, even in Genesis, even in the first few pages where it talks about how there were giants in the earth in those days. There's dozens upon dozens from Gilgamesh to Goliath to just endless amounts. And if we all knew the giants lived here, then we literally would say, hey, they talked about them in the Bible. If they were in the Bible and they're here, then maybe the Bible is true. So why are they hiding them? Because they don't want you to know that the Bible is true. They want you turning away from God. Now let's get to some of the evidence that they actually existed. When you research, you can literally find dozens, and I'm talking dozens, of newspaper articles from legitimate news sources back in the early 1900s and late 1800s, things like the Chicago Tribune, talking about giants. And I'm not talking 7 or 8 footers. I'm talking 15, 20, even 25-foot giants where the remains have been found and they've been reported on. There's been a newspaper article. And then you know who comes in and purchases them or swipes in and steals them, takes them to their place and then puts them in the basement? The Smithsonian. They have the biggest cover-up of giants ever because they are owned by the elites and they don't want you to know that giants roam this world because they would legitimize the Bible. This is an article, you can't see it up top, but it's from the Minneapolis newspaper talking about a giant found in 1816 that was 30 feet long, literally 30 feet. An article from May 4th, 1908, talking about giants found that were 8 feet 11 inches. Another one here talking about prehistoric giants that were found near Montesano, Missouri, it looks like. There were 3 of them, at least 10 feet high. This is a book, Giants on Record. Literally, you can go buy this in Amazon or on Amazon. These guys spent years putting this together, and they have found hundreds upon hundreds of giant skeletal remains. They found ones as big as 18 feet tall, and they had proof that the Smithsonian had over 17 of them on record in the basement that they've never put out for the public to see. This is from the back of that book. It talks about how there are skeleton remains over 18 feet tall that have been reported uncovered in prehistoric mounds. And they're all being taken by the Smithsonian. Most of the newspaper articles you find too, they'll have an article and then you'll find one shortly after saying it's a hoax. Oh, they're just, that was just a big thing in the late 1800s and early 1900s to fake giant remains and then all of a sudden say it was a hoax. No, they don't want you to know about it because it proves the Bible and it proves God. Here's just an image. This one was found in San Diego. Just look, okay? Yes, there are tall people historically throughout time, just random ones, but when you're finding mounds, literally mounds with 18 to 20 people, all of that height, all of 15 to 18 to 20 feet tall, that's not your just random Andre the Giant with giantism. I just want to give you a few more photo visual examples so you can actually see that giant skeletal remains have been found. They tried to say this one was a giant prehistoric sloth. Come on, look at this rib cage. Look at the femurs. I'm going to show you a video in a minute that talks about this guy saying that there are potentially still giants around now in underground labs. And listen to what they say. It's hilarious. He says something about Jesus Christ and how they're not allowed to say his name. Ties in very nicely to everything I'm saying. I've taken a lot of anatomy, biology, physiology classes to know that that is a human femur. Okay? We don't get ball and socket joints that look exactly like that on other animals. Look at the size of this. That is literally bigger than this man's torso. It's ginormous. They existed.
Greg Renrich, that was one of the things that he told me. He's the one that was talking about seeing the giants in the deep underground military bases. He said that one of the first things that they had to do before he was allowed to go into S4 or S20 or any of the others, they made him sign an affidavit saying, you're not allowed to use the name Jesus Christ in these underground facilities, not even if you stub your toe or anything. And he said that he saw 10 to 25 foot tall giants in these underground bases and said that they were, the human scientists and other people working side by side with him. He said that they even came right out and said they were the Nephilim. They came right out and said
Nephilim's from the Bible.
That, basically we're preparing for an intergalactic war with God, and they believe that they're going to win.
This is a representation of actual giant remains that have been unearthed, discovered, and logged that have been hidden from you. Look at the last one, 36 feet tall. If this isn't proof that education is lying to you, that the world is lying to you, that the Bible is real, that God is real, that Jesus Christ is real, I don't know what is. Take this, share this. The world needs to know giants were real, and so is God.